Mary Fields, better known as Stagecoach Mary, was a formidable force in the American West. Born into slavery around 1832 in Hickman County, Tennessee, Fields would go on to defy societal norms, break barriers, and establish herself as the first African-American woman to become a U.S. Postal Service Star Route mail carrier. Her story is one of resilience, strength, and an unyielding spirit that earned her a legendary place in history. Her presence was not just felt but feared by those who underestimated her sheer determination. As one of the few black women making a name for herself in the dangerous terrain of the Wild West, she proved time and again that courage and perseverance could outshine any adversity. Despite the deeply ingrained racial and gender prejudices of the time, she shattered expectations and carved a path for others to follow. Her journey to prominence was not one of ease, but rather of relentless struggle, courage, and an unwillingness to conform to societal limitations. Early life and the path to freedom. Little is known about Fields' early years, as records for enslaved individuals were rarely kept with precision. However, it is believed that she was freed following the Civil War in 1865. What she did immediately after emancipation remains unclear, but by the late 1870s, she had found work as a housekeeper at the Ursuline Convent in Toledo, Ohio. Her transition from a life of enslavement to one of independence was undoubtedly fraught with challenges, as the post-war period was marked by deep-seated racial discrimination and economic hardship. Despite the odds stacked against her, she sought stability and an honest means of making a living. The Ursuline Convent offered her an opportunity for work, and she proved to be more than capable of handling even the most strenuous duties. She quickly became indispensable, earning the trust and admiration of the nuns, particularly Mother Amadeus, who played a pivotal role in her later journey to Montana. Though many freed slaves struggled to establish a livelihood in a nation that was still grappling with racial inequalities, Fields' tenacity set her apart. She was determined to make something of herself, and her reputation for hard work and loyalty soon preceded her. A woman among men, life in Montana. Upon arriving in Montana around 1885, Fields quickly became an indispensable part of St. Peter's mission. She was a towering figure, standing around 6 feet tall and weighing roughly 200 pounds, an imposing presence in an era when women were expected to conform to delicate domestic roles. Fields, however, had no interest in convention. She carried herself with an air of confidence and authority that few dared to challenge. At the mission, she performed physically demanding tasks, including chopping wood, repairing buildings, and hauling heavy supplies from nearby towns, often in treacherous weather conditions. It was not just her strength that set her apart, but also her ability to solve problems and keep things running efficiently. While many of the nuns and townspeople admired her work ethic, her strong-willed nature sometimes led to conflicts with those who believed a woman, especially a black woman, should not hold such a prominent role. She defied stereotypes and dismissed societal expectations, proving that she was just as capable as any man in the region. Her presence became legendary as word spread of her fearless nature and readiness to stand her ground in the face of opposition. Fields' refusal to adhere to traditional gender roles made her both a controversial and highly respected figure within the Montana community. Gunslinger and outlaw stories. One of the most famous stories about Fields involves an altercation with a male worker at the mission. Reports vary, but it is said that the man either resented taking orders from her or was angered that she earned higher wages than him. The disagreement escalated into a gunfight, though neither party was injured. Regardless of the exact details, the incident was scandalous enough to lead the Bishop of Montana to order Fields' dismissal from the mission. While this may have marked the end of her tenure at the mission, it was far from the end of her impact on Montana. Her departure from St. Peter's mission signified the beginning of an even more independent chapter of her life. Though she had lost a steady position, she refused to let the setback define her. She sought work in Cascade, a nearby town, where she briefly ran a restaurant that quickly became a haven for those in need. Unfortunately, her generous nature led her to feed many who could not afford to pay, and her business eventually failed. However, even in the face of financial hardships, she remained resilient. Her reputation as a tough and fearless woman continued to grow, and her ability to handle firearms only added to her legend. She was known to settle disputes with her pistol, ensuring that she commanded respect wherever she went. The people of Cascade, though wary of her temper, could not help but admire her tenacity and unwillingness to be intimidated. Stagecoach Mary, the postal pioneer. In 1895, at the age of approximately 60, Fields once again defied expectations. She secured a contract as a Star Route mail carrier, becoming the first African-American woman to work for the U.S. Postal Service. This job required her to transport mail between Cascade and St. Peter's Mission, a dangerous 34-mile route fraught with the perils of harsh weather, bandits, and wild animals. Unlike many of her contemporaries who might have hesitated to take on such a hazardous occupation, Fields embraced the challenge wholeheartedly. She often traveled alone, armed with a rifle and a revolver to protect the mail from outlaws. Her fearless attitude and unwavering dedication quickly earned her the nickname Stagecoach Mary. The local residents admired her for her reliability, and she soon became a symbol of resilience in the region. There were tales of her single-handedly fending off wolves to ensure the mail reached its destination, as well as her braving snowstorms and treacherous terrain without hesitation. For 8 years, she carried out her duties with an unmatched commitment, never missing a single delivery. Her work ethic and reliability made her an essential part of the Postal Service, and even after retiring, she remained a cherished figure in Cascade. Life after the Postal Service. Following her tenure as a mail carrier, Fields opened a laundry business, continuing to support herself independently. She also took on babysitting duties for local children, many of whom adored her. Though she had a gruff exterior, those who knew her spoke of her generosity and kind heart. She was well known for her ability to command respect while also showing deep compassion to those in need. Even in her later years, she was frequently spotted at the local saloons, where she engaged in drinking and storytelling, much to the delight of patrons. She became something of a living legend in Cascade, embodying the very essence of the American frontier spirit. She was widely regarded as one of the toughest, most independent women of her time. Her unwavering self-reliance and defiance of societal norms made her a trailblazer in every sense of the word. Her life, though marked by hardships, was also filled with triumphs that few could match. A legacy cemented in history. Mary Fields, known affectionately as Stagecoach Mary, passed away on December 5, 1914, at the approximate age of 82, leaving behind a legacy that, though uncelebrated at the time, would only grow stronger with each passing decade. Despite the many obstacles she faced as a black woman in the Wild West, Fields carved out a reputation as a fearless, determined, and trailblazing figure. She was not just the first African-American woman to work for the U.S. Postal Service, but also one of the toughest stagecoach drivers of her time, armed, quick-witted, and utterly unshakable in the face of danger. At the time of her passing, Fields' story was largely confined to oral histories and local legends, known mostly by the small Montana town of Cascade, where she spent her later years. However, as time passed, her legend only grew. She became the subject of books, documentaries, and even fictional portrayals in television and film, each retelling further cementing her as a symbol of resilience and independence. Historians and writers began to recognize her groundbreaking role as a black woman in the American frontier, celebrating her contributions to both the Postal Service and the community she served. And that, folks, is the incredible larger-than-life story of Stagecoach Mary, a woman who shattered barriers, conquered the Wild West, and left an indelible mark on history. If you found this video inspiring, make sure to hit that like button and share it with others who love tales of courage and resilience. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you never miss another deep dive into the lives of extraordinary figures. Let us know in the comments what you think of Mary Fields' story. Was she the toughest woman of the Old West? Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring history's greatest stories.